connected this. চেঞ্জ করতে পারবো না, এটাকে ঠিক করে দিই। সরো সরো সরো, গানা অনেক দেরি আছে। শুরু হয়ে গেছে না? কিছু শুরু হয়নি। শুরু হয়ে গেছে।
Hello, Shubandhu sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Should we start now?
Yeah, please see from your side.
Shandipan, are we ready to start the webinar?
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Yes, I am ready.
Shandipan, are we ready to go?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay. So let's start. Respected Principal Sir, respected Professor Kurhade, my dear colleagues and faculty members from other institutions, the learned participants from different parts of the country, on behalf of the organizing committee, first of all, I welcome you all in this national seminar titled Urban Sparrow Conservation, Role of Students, Scholars and Citizens, organized by the Ecology and Biodiversity Unit, Department of Zoology and IQAC. We all know that house sparrows are small passerine birds that were once widespread and were commonly seen around us. But over the last few decades, their numbers have declined not only in India, but in many other countries as well. And they have become a topic of conservation discussion. Hence, to raise our awareness and protect these house sparrows, every year on this very day, that is March 20, World Sparrow Day is observed. The first World Sparrow Day was organized in the year 2010 by the Nature Forever Society in India and the Ecosys Action Foundation in France. And on this iconic day of sparrow conservation and awareness, we have all gathered in this webinar to know the plights of these small passerines from the expert and to show our concern for their survival. With this brief introduction, I would like to request our respected principal sir to formally inaugurate this webinar and say a few words. Over to you, sir. I think there must be some network issues. So before we connect to our principal, sir, I would like our HOD to say a few words on this webinar, and thereafter once we get Principal Sir online, he will be formally inaugurating the webinar. Over to you, Professor
Thank you.
Ekramudin.
Thank you, Dr. Shibpur Majumdar, Coordinator, IQAC of Shibpur Dinobundhoo Institution, College, Howrah. I am privileged to introduce an important, significant, and well-known personality in the field of wildlife and ecology and in nature, Dr. Purade Sudhakar Muralidhar, a retired professor of Department of Zoology, Savitri Phule, Pune University, Pune. Dr. Majumdar has already introduced the main theme of our webinar. Today is World Sparrow Day, and we have met this evening to observe the day in a different way. By organizing a webinar organized by the Ecology and Biodiversity unit of our college, specifically our department, that organize the concept of sparrow conservation, role of students, role of scholars, and role of mass citizen. Dr. Khorade is well known in the field of ecology. I do not repeat this, but only to introduce him by his some important work activities, honor, title. A long speech is required to express his greatness, but there is very less time, and only I want to say some important event. There are so many. I have read the whole VC of Sir, and it took about 1 hour to read this. Such a personality. He has already published about 70 important and good quality research papers in different national, international, renowned journals, and have published about 215 articles in different journals, newspapers of different languages, Marathi, English, and therefore he is well known to general public, most people. He has also published about 50 books, and many of the books are very much important to the learners, the college and university learners that are written, designed to grow their knowledge, to find out more in the field of geology in different branches, not only the general geology. There are systematics, there are biochemistry, endocrinology. He has capability in almost all fields. I have read this, the VC, and I respect very much for this great work. And he has been awarded by different honors, by different titles. The Maharashtra government has awarded honorary wildlife warden of the government. This is a great award. And there are many organizations, there are many renowned institutions throughout the country who have honored him by different titles, fellowship, and different prizes. He has earned a huge honor from different classes of people, from the learners, from the lawmakers, from the uh, faculties of different colleges and universities. I do not want to say more. I uh, I want to request him to say about what he thinks in sparrow conservation and related matter in our today's webinar. I want to express my gratitude to present himself in this webinar in the evening. Thank you.
Thank you,
Same.
Professor Kamuddin. Before we go to the main speaker, Professor Kurade, actually there were some network issues, so our respected principal sir could not join at that time. Now he has joined. Thank you, sir, for joining us, taking out time from your very busy schedule. I would request you, sir, to give a brief introduction to this webinar and formal inauguration of this national webinars. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Suvit. Good evening, everybody, and welcome everybody to this World Sparrow Day. Actually, the webinar has been organized by the Ecology and Biodiversity Unit of this college in collaboration with Internal Quality Assurance Cell College. To the organizing committee, and thanks to the teaching faculty staff of different colleges, including our college. Thanks to the students and also for others for making it a success. Actually, the theme of the webinar is conservation of urban sparrows and the role of students, role of scholars and citizens. This is the theme. Now, let us first talk about the thing that the question may arise in our mind, why we need to worry conservation of our. The the expert answer and the expert explanation to be given by honorable distinguished speaker, Professor Sudhakar M. Kurade. And I also heartiest welcome to Professor Dr. Kurade. But as a general view, the answer is very simple. Why we need to worry about conservation of urban sparrow? This answer is simple: protect our biodiversity. Now, what is biodiversity? It is nothing but all the plants and animal life in earth that altogether is biodiversity. Now, still question may arise, why biodiversity matters to us? It is very simple, because the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, everything is related to biodiversity. So biodiversity is in crisis. In today, it is in crisis. It is in the verge of destruction in various forms and contents, and the human civilization is only responsible for this. Actually, if we think deeply, the human civilization is nothing but just like heap of memories over the years, over millions of years. And what kind of memories? That is the learned. That is the thing learned through evolving process of different species. And then come the human beings. So, if the biodiversity is destructed, if biodiversity is lost, at present we are in a situation, we are facing a serious situation of huge global level biodiversity losses. So if biodiversity losses, then there is a situation of thing that we are burning out the living library of life that is the story of evolution. So that's why the conservation of various species, conservation of biodiversity is important. And so far as the conservation of urban sparrows are concerned, that is only one of the among several things that we need to look after. So today's webinar is very much appropriate and very much up to the current situation. And let us take a pledge that we must protect our biodiversity. We must do something to protect our biodiversity. And to be very frankly, that if human civilization is perished for some reason, suddenly human civilization is perished, then obviously the biodiversity will grow, will flourish more than ever before. So we need to be cautious about that. So we must do something, and let us take a pledge on this particular occasion, that is the World Sparrow Day, that we should something to protect the sparrow, and we should control. That is the fact that sparrows are on the verge of extinction. We must protect it. We must prevent it. And with this, we declare the webinar open, and let us hear from expert from Professor Dr. Kurade in details, so that we can enrich and we can do something. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful introduction and inaugurating this webinar. And now, without wasting any further time, I would request Professor Kurhade, the entire stage is now yours. Please enlighten us with your expertise. I know you very well for many long years. I know your work, but please enlighten all of us about the conservation, why sparrow needs conservation, and many myths that we know. Please break those myths also. The entire stage is now yours. Over to you, sir. Sir, can you start your lecture, please, Professor Kurhade? Thank you, sir.
Good evening. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes,
Hello.
you're perfectly audible. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yeah. So, to start with this lecture, can you see the screen? Hello?
No, the screen is not yet visible, sir.
Just a minute. Open. I will just share my screen. Share. Can you see the first slide, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir, now.
Yeah. So, to start with, I am very much thankful to the authorities of Shibpur Dinobundhoo Institution College, Howrah, West Bengal, particularly to the principal, head of the Department of Zoology, and my friend, Dr. Subhendu, and secondly, all the students who have been joined for this webinar. Now, as Dr. Subhendu has already pointed out that today is 20th March, and this day is celebrated as World Sparrow Day all over the world. And if we look for the beginning of this day, how it has been started, then it was on the 20th March 2010. For the first time, this day was observed at international level. Earlier, it was in the first decade of 21st century all over the world. It has been threat that number of sparrows are declining all over the world. And so in the year 2008, one of the youth from Nasik, Maharashtra, he came up with an idea to celebrate Sparrow Day on 20th March. So first Sparrow Day in India was celebrated on 2008, and in the first 2 years he has got very good success. Many of the citizens, many of the students, they participated in the event, and then at the international level, one group studying particularly on the house sparrows from France, they decided why not to celebrate this 20th March on larger scale as a World Sparrow Day. And it was in the year 2010, all over the world, the Sparrow Day has been started. So it is on 20th March 2010, the first World Sparrow Day was observed, and then it is being celebrated every year around the world. The basic intention of the Sparrow Day, as it was declared by the Mohammad Dilawar of Nasik, Maharashtra, is to raise awareness about the house sparrow and the other common birds, particularly to the urban environment. So this is much more important. For us, we people living in the urban environment, it is said that we are losing number of common birds and sparrow is among them. So for last 12 to 15 years, this day is being celebrated at national level as well as on the international level also. Now, being student of zoology, all of us, we know the classification of common sparrow and the sparrow that we have, or Gauria. It is the Passer domesticus. Apart from this, if we look at the global scenario, then there are 26 species of sparrows which has been reported throughout the world, and we have only 5 of them in our country. These are the russet sparrow, Spanish sparrow, Sindh sparrow, tree sparrow, and what I'm going to talk about is the house sparrow. So this is our NGO. We are working with nature for last 30 years in our city and in the schools and colleges, creating awareness about conservation of birds, animals, and nature overall. Many of the staff members or faculty members must have read this autobiography of The Fall of a Sparrow, written by Padma Shri late Dr. Salim Ali Saab, the great ornithologist of India. And what is the importance of this sparrow? Why the name of his autobiography is The Fall of a Sparrow? That when he came across a Petronia, a yellow-throated sparrow, when he was a school-going child, so he took this Petronia or yellow-throated sparrow to the BNHS, and he came to know that this is not ordinary house sparrow or Passer domesticus, but this is something different. And then onward, he started studying the birds, and his future he devoted for the conservation and study of the bird. So he was Dr. Salim Ali, who wrote this biography, The Fall of a Sparrow, because of this sparrow, yellow-throated sparrow, Petronia. Now, when we talk about house sparrow, I said that it is more important for the peoples living in the urban areas. It's not only urban areas, but house sparrow is equally seen in the same number in the rural settings also, because this tiny bird, it is very very strongly associated with the human habitation, and it loves to live around the human setting in the urban or in the rural areas also. As I said that the bird is very small, measuring about just 16 centimeter to 18 centimeter with a compact body and a full chest, large rounded head. And being a granivorous bird, its bill is very much stout and conical. In the birds, they have different types of beak depending on the what type of food they forage on, and the type of food it varies according to the habitat where they live. And being the house sparrow, it feeds on the grains. The type is granivorous type of beak, or it is a granivorous type of bird, and for this purpose the bird has to pick up the food grain from ground. The beak is short, very stout and conical. With the help of this conical beak, the bird or the sparrow is able to crush the food grain and to feed on. If we look for its weight, then again it's very small. It ranges from 24 to 40 grams only. And the females, they are slightly smaller than the male. Now, there is not a single person or there is not a single student who is unable to identify the sparrow. So every one of us can identify the sparrow from remaining birds very easily. What's difficult is to distinguish between male and female sparrow. But again, the sexes are very strongly separate because a sexual dimorphism is very clear in the sparrow. So from the picture, you can see here, this is a male sparrow with a black patch on the throat, then black stripe. It starts from the base of the beak and runs across the ear and has a gray crown. Whereas this is a female sparrow with slightly brownish yellowish feathers, and in both it shows presence of blackish and whitish stripes or lines all over the body. You can see the conical and strong beak in both the sexes, male and female. And for the dimorphic character, this is a picture. This is a female sparrow and this is a male sparrow, and it is rightly pointed out that males are little bulky than that of a female. Now, the interesting thing in the sparrows is the house sparrow is a monogamous bird. That means if they form a pair, male and female sparrow comes together and they form a pair, this pair, it lasts for lifetime. No doubt, in a flock of 40 or 50 birds, sometimes there are few chances that a male may get engaged with other female, but this percentage is very very less. It is just about 12 to 15%. But all of the other males and females, they remain as a life partner for their entire life. If we look for the nesting sites of the sparrows in the rural settings, in the rural areas, the sparrows, they make their nest in the temples just behind the frames or in the crevices in the walls. It may be from inner side or from the outer side. But in the urban settings, it's very difficult for this tiny bird to search for the nesting site. And this has been happening for last many years, that sparrows are not getting the proper site for nesting. And after studying this, many of the NGOs, they came up with the artificial nest so that the sparrows can breed or sparrows can nest in such artificial nest. Secondly, the sparrows, depending on the local climatic conditions, they breed throughout the year, and it has been observed that they use the same nest repeatedly for years together. So the breeding season of the sparrows, it varies from place to place depending on the availability of nest site and depending on the weather condition or other condition which are favorable. The clutch size or the number of eggs laid by the sparrows, it is around 4 to 5, and these eggs are chalky white in color with very small greenish or brownish spots on them. Subhendu sir, am I audible? Subhendu sir? Hello? Subhendu sir? Okay. Now, this is parental care. Both male and female sparrow take care of their eggs as well as their young ones. Both male and female sparrow, they feed the young ones, and it is the male who has to guard the nest while the mother sparrow is incubating the egg or when mother sparrow is inside the nest. This fellow, male sparrow, it guard the nest. If we look for the social behavior of the sparrow, like that of other birds, sparrows also like to have a mud bath, water bath, and leaf bath. Now, students may have question, why do most of the birds, including sparrows, they take a mud bath? Being a zoology student or biology student, we must know that all the vertebrates get exposed to number of ectoparasites every day, and these ectoparasites, they are very tiny. Bird mite is there, so it's very tiny, microscopic. One of my students is working on bird mite and dust mite also, and these mite, they take a blood meal from the birds. So to get rid of such ectoparasites, these birds, most of the birds, they take mud bath. Now here the sparrows, they take mud bath or water bath in a group. So both the pictures are from my surrounding, and I have observed number of sparrows not less than 50 taking mud bath simultaneously. So this second picture is of water bath. The purpose is the same. And here also I have seen not less than 50 sparrow taking water bath at a time. Similarly, if water is not available and if we sprinkle water on the bush or shrub, and as we know, if the lamina leaf surface is a concave, then some of the water get stored in the concave leaf, and it is this water where the tiny birds like sunbird and the sparrows, they take a bath. This is known as leaf bath. So mud bath, leaf bath and water bath is important to the sparrows and most of other birds. Now, I said that it was in the first decade of 21st century, during 2000 to 2010, that everywhere it was said that the number of sparrows and common birds are declining day by day because of many more reasons. So this report, State of India's Birds, was published in the year 2020. That means just 20 years back. So this is the recent report, authentic report, and this report, it says that the number of sparrows is not declining, but it is slightly increasing. So overall, there is increase in the number of sparrows throughout the countries. So this is the good news, that way that number of house sparrows is increasing throughout the country. At that time it was said that because of mobile towers and the other electromagnetic waves, the number of birds are declining. But this report says that there is no any scientific evidence to prove that because of mobile towers or the electromagnetic waves emitting from such towers, the number of birds, including sparrow, is declining. So this is a very good news, very promising news, that the number of sparrows overall is increasing in our country. Now, whether the sparrow migrates like all other migratory birds? No. Sparrows, particularly the house sparrow, it does not migrate on that scale, but few experiment has been performed by tagging or by ringing the sparrow from Bharatpur area and Point Calamari area, and these sparrows have been recovered from the northern part of our country or the South Asia, like Kazakhstan and other area. So these sparrows, they are ring at this place, Delhi and Bharatpur, and the ring sparrows were found somewhere else, somewhere here in the other country. So the sparrows, they also migrate, but on small scale and in small number. They never migrate in a huge number like that of rosy pasture, because rosy pasture, they migrate from Europe to our area, to my place, in thousands. Their flock consists of many thousand birds at a time. So it is not so with this house sparrow. Now, like that of other birds, the sparrows do have their natural enemies, the pet dogs and the pet cats, pet animals. They feed on the house sparrow or bulbul, red-winged bulbul, or other birds from the garden. So it is not only the raptors or it is not only the crow, but our pet animals, cats, dogs, feral cats, they also feed on the sparrows. But as we know that this is a natural cycle and every one of us have the natural enemy and we have our own food. So it is the food for some other. So prey predator relationship is also maintained by the sparrow. Secondly, such illegal hunting by the tribals, by the student, school going students, or even the college going student, they also one of the reason for declining the number, but not in very huge scale because these people they hunt the sparrow to cook and to eat. Even it is written by Dr. Salim Ali. Dr. Salim Ali used to shoot the sparrows with the sports gun and he used to give these sparrows to the khansama to make a biryani. So these birds they are used as a food material also. Now in the urban areas we construct such RCC buildings where there is no crack, there is no crevice. So where this tiny bird sparrow will nest. And now our role as a student, as a teacher, it begins. So title of the webinar is World Sparrow Day Students Initiative. And now the role of student, initiative of the student, initiative of the teachers, initiative of the senior citizens, it begins from this slide. Now this is a typical Bangalore from any urban area with no crack or crevice or a small space for a tiny bird like sparrow to live in. So, what could be done? How the space could be developed by ourselves, or the bird will find space at their own. Now, this is my own Bangalore, and what I did, it is in this picture. So, I use a artificial nest box and I fitted this artificial nest box in such a way that there will be no much more disturbance of ourselves. The cat, the dog cannot reach at that particular height, and at the same time I have provided them a string. So you can see a female sparrow is sitting here on this nail, and this is a male sparrow who is guarding the nest. So male sparrow it guard the nest when the eggs are there or female is incubating the eggs or when young ones are there. So we can go with the artificial nest box, or this is a picture of female sparrow with egg. You can see this, a chalky white egg with brownish spots, and the nest is constructed in a pipe. So this pipe is no more used, and this pair has selected this pipe as a nest, and it is nesting in this pipe for last many years. So this again from my own Bangalore. Yes, you can see the male is feeding the baby sparrow or young sparrow. So the parental care, both parents take care of their young one, both male and female. They feed their young one, they raise their young ones. Or what we can do? We can have such earheads of jawar, bajra, or wheat, and we can hang them in a garden, so that being the bird is granivorous bird, the sparrows, they feed very happily. Again, this picture is from my garden where the birds are found to be feeding. Now, in the Bengal, wheat is a common crop, and we can go for such a hanging. This is prepared from the ear heads of wheat, and I just use this hanging on a nilmohar tree, and number of sparrows get attracted towards this hanging. So this is initiative. Students can look for this, or if you are innovative enough, or if you are a skilled craftsman, then you can go for such a kind of sparrow feeder. This is particularly sparrow feeder. No other bird can feed on this because a mesh is fitted over this. This is a store or box where we have to lift this body of this bird and fill this with grains, particularly bajra. And the sparrows, they take the grains on this platform and feed on them. So I use all these artificial feeders, nest box in my Bangalore, and believe me, there are more than 100 sparrows at a time around my Bangalore in Ahmednagar. So this is the situation. Every time number of sparrows I come across. So you can place water in a mud pot, small mud pot, in the window. This is from the window, and this is rice. So sparrow feed on the rice, drink water, and get flew away. Or I told you that during hot summer, the birds do require water for bathing, and it is early in the morning at around 8 o'clock from my area in my Bangalore, that number of sparrows gather together to have a water bath. So at a time, 10 or 15 sparrows are taking water bath. They drink water as well as they play in the water. So this could be done by each and every student at his Bangalore or in his flat, in the balcony or on the terrace. Yes, here also birds, they are enjoying the water bath. Yes, now what students can do? Now this is a cartoon or a box of shoes or sandal. Name itself, I purposely kept the name Wildcraft. And this artificial nest is prepared by myself during the corona pandemic 2 years back. And I fitted this box on a pillar in the parking, and I was waiting for the birds to accept the box. But it took 1 year. The sparrows, they're just coming, they're looking inside the box and just going outside. They're not accepted the box for 1 year. But during last year, in last pandemic, I was very happy that the box was accepted by a pair of sparrow, and they construct the nest inside, and the few young ones have been reared from the box also. Or what students can do, we can take a pipe, plastic pipe or paper pipe of 3 to 4 inch diameter. You have to seal the pipe from one side, then seal the other end of pipe also. But later you just make opening to the pipe, open it halfway, and while wrapping the sellotape, just place one stick which serves as a perching site for the birds, because sparrows they must have some perching site before they enter into the nest, and this nest is also accepted, and there is successful rearing of the young ones. You can see that this is fitted to the ceiling of parking. This is the hook, this is the bar. So with the help of this bar and this hook, I have fitted this artificial nest. So cost of such nest is nothing. We can have such box from any shop or from our own, and we can just have two small holes of 2-inch diameter, so that only a single sparrow can enter at a time, and we can put it at a safe site. What is important, that the bird should feel that the nest provided, it may be artificial, it may be plywood, or it may be pipe nest, is very comfortable and very safe to them. This is another nest again from the shoebox, and two nests are there. You can see the tiny bird inside, and you can see all the grasses, feathers, then cotton. It is plugged in this box. So these are the two separate nests. The photograph is from Mumbai. This is from 5th floor. Now this is a decent plywood box which were distributed to the public with a minimum cost of rupees 125, and we also fitted these box at the public places. This is from the bus stand area, which has been accepted successfully. So one may have question that on a bus stand hundreds of people are there, but as I've told you that these birds they love to live near human habitation, so they accept such nest also. And this is the design, technical design of the artificial nest box prepared from the plywood. So I will just send this slide to the Subhendu sir, and the students who are interested, they may have this design from your respected Subhendu sir. So with this, did this on large scale, and about 80 to 90% boxes, nest boxes, have been accepted by the birds. Now, for the student, what could be done by the college student if someone want to do a minor project with this common bird? So what I will advise you, go for such boxes with the help of any NGO or Rotary Club or Lions Club. You get prepared about 100 boxes, fit these 100 boxes in the different human habitat. Some boxes in the societies, some in the educational complex, some in the commercial complex, some in the malls. So you select 5 different sites, fit 20 boxes at each site, and go on regular surveying of these boxes once in a week or once in a fortnightly, and look for when the nest get accepted by the sparrow. This is first study. I told you it is from my Bangalore, from my site. I was waiting for 1 year in Corona pandemic. The nest box was not accepted by a sparrow. You got accepted by 1 year. So you must have that patience. Bird photography, bird watching needs patience. Even the bird studies. Subhendu sir did a lot of work on birds, so he knows that one should have patience observing the birds or noting their observation. And then you try to find out which habitat is being accepted earlier and which habitat is not accepted or which is accepted later, and try to find out what are the reasons behind. This is one kind of survey. Second, you select only one habitat, say housing colonies, and fit these boxes at different heights. Some boxes at 10 feet height, some at 20 feet height, some on 30 feet height, 40 likewise. And again, go for the same observations. As I told you that the one picture, it was from Mumbai. On fourth floor, the nest box was accepted by the bird. So try to find out at what height the birds accept the nest very easily. If you are kind enough, you can record the entire life cycle right from the eggs to the hatching just by putting a small camera inside the nest to study its development. Or third, you just fit the nest to the garden, to the tree trunk, and then find out on which tree trunk the bird accept the nest very easily. It must be on babul and ziziphus, thorny bushes or thorny shrubs or thorny trees. So likewise, you can study this tiny bird. Secondly, to create awareness, the students and the teachers, they can write small articles about the conservation of bird. If you put such nest, or if you place, or if you provide drinking water or water for bathing to the birds, then you can say like me, yes, I did this, and that's why I am telling you that just by placing a water in mud pot, take care that water must be put in a mud pot which is shallow with a broad mouth, so that the bird can enjoy bathing within in. So with this, you can create awareness among the society, among the school children. Even some of the teachers or NCC student, they can go to the schools and have a camp regarding construction of artificial nest. So we can have such pipes from the salesman cloth market. You just take it, cut it to 1 feet or 10 inches length, then just wrap it with the tape. Just put a wooden straw as a perching site, and then distribute such nest to the student themselves. Ask them to take this nest to their home and fix it at their home, and study whether the birds accept this nest or not. Please take care that the pipe should be small enough, otherwise the pigeons will occupy the artificial nest. So dimensions are more important. So we must take a small size pipe or the hole which is formed here, it should be also very small, so that only the mother sparrow or father sparrow can enter. Otherwise there is threat that the common miners or the pigeons, they try to occupy the nest, even they destroy the eggs or the clutch of this bird. So on this 20th March, the World Sparrow Day, I'm very happy to share my experiences in the field of ornithology, in the bird watching, with all of you, with the faculty members of the college and with the students. And with this slide here, you can see the male sparrow, female sparrow, a sexual dimorphism is very clear, so nothing is to be told about this. So everyone can identify a male sparrow and female sparrow very easily. So with this, I'm again very much thankful to the authorities of the college, principal, head of the department, coordinator IQAC, and my friend Dr. Subendhu for giving me opportunity to share my experiences in this field with all of you. Thank you very much.
This is a wonderful lecture actually, and we all are enriched by seeing how very simple steps can help us conserving these house sparrows in our surroundings. Sir, many participants have participated, and we have a lot of questions actually. Before I go to that question, I know another person. His name is Kuntal Kosh. He's also doing wonderful work in Jalpaiguri. I don't know whether he has joined or not. Shondipon, can you connect Mr. Kuntal Ghosh, please? Shondipon, is Kuntal Ghosh online? Okay, he'll be joining, sir. Actually, he's working with the school students.
Okay.
Actually, I couldn't contact him earlier due to some network issues. I tried. Anyway, I think he will be shortly online. Before we get in touch with Mr. Kuntal Ghosh, let me take some of the questions which the students are asking. Like, first of all, Chondima Sen wants to know that how to guard against the predators, like while installing these nest boxes, obviously, how to guard them against the predators. That is the first question we are taking. Over to you, sir.
Very good question. And as I have said earlier, that you should place the nest box at a safe height at about 10 foot. The nest box which I have fitted in my bungalow, it is at 10 feet height, so that the cats and dogs, pet cat or pet dog, they cannot reach to this side. Secondly, if you are providing drinking water, then keep these pots at such a place where birds can go. Otherwise, what happens? The stray dogs or the cats, they also visit the same pot for drinking the water, and accidentally or purposefully, it is the cat. Purposefully, cats, they sit just side by to the water pots, and when the sparrows visit to the water spot, they attack on them. So you have to take care of sparrows from the cats and dogs at your own. There is nothing difficult, so just put or place this nest at a height where the cat or dog cannot reach. So next one.
Yes, sir. The next question is by Moinak Mitro. What are the effects of environmental changes on sparrow, and how are they adapting to it if there are any effects?
Sir, please repeat, sir, question.
What are the effects of environmental changes on sparrow, and
Okay.
how are they adapting to it?
Now, all biology students, they know that we all, including ourselves, myself, we are in the process of evolution. Evolution is a very long process. Every day we try to adapt ourselves. Earlier, when pandemic was not there, I was not used to play with the laptop or my mobile so easily that I'm doing at present. So I have adapted within this 2 year, and I have started presenting my work on the laptop or on the online. So this is the process for each and every individual in the universe, not only birds or not only human being, but all the animals. Now, with respect to birds, it is the pesticides which are taking a great toll of birds. But as the number of people, population of India is increasing day by day, we have to get maximum yield from the field. And to get this, farmers make use of insecticides. No doubt, these insecticides also, being their stomach insecticides, they also kill the birds because it is a stomach poison. But the number as compared to this is very less, and so there is no such evidence that because of some environmental changes the number of sparrow is declining. I have shown you in the earlier slide that there is a state report of Indian bird which clearly indicate that the number of sparrows is not declining, but it is increasing slowly. Sir, Subhendu sir.
Sorry, I was muted actually. Just let me take the next question. There are plenty of questions. It has ignited interest among the students. Your wonderful lecture. Actually, Pallav Ghosh wants to know, how does mud bath help the sparrow to get rid of ectoparasites?
Yes. Now again, it's another. It would be another webinar. We should know the morphology of the birds. We know that the entire body of birds is covered with feathers, and a single feather it consists of a raft and a very small, very tiny fibrous like structure. And there are some ectoparasites which get associated with the shaft, and thereby they reach to the skin of the bird to feed on the blood or to feed on the keratin. Thereby the birds become restless. Now, when the birds take mud bath, now it is not in all areas they take mud bath or they take soil bath, where the particle size of soil is very small. At that area only these birds they take a bath, so that these soil particles they reach up to the feathers, up to the base, and just by flapping their feathers they try to get rid of the ectoparasite. Secondly, when they go for water bath, they try to keep their body cool. We know the feather it form a kind of insulation to keep their body warm. And during summer season, as it's very hot, they also want that their body should be cool enough, and so they try to take water bath during summertime. It is not so that in the rest of the season they do not take water bath, they do, but during summer they visit the or they try to take water bath more frequently. Next, please, sir.
Okay. Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mr. Kuntal Ghosh, he has shared some of his sparrow feeders that I was telling you he couldn't join. He wishes to share with all the
Good.
audience.
Yeah.
Shondipan, if you can allow me to share my screen, I can show. He
Yes,
has
yes,
sent me through WhatsApp.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
He's
Very
doing
good.
a wonderful job in
Yeah, this
Jalpaiguri.
is what I expected. Students' initiative.
Yes, actually, Shondipan, is my screen? Is my screen visible now?
Not
I
yet, sir.
just share what he has sent me through WhatsApp. He's doing this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is my
Good, good,
screen?
good. Yeah,
Yes, these are
yeah,
sent
yeah,
by
yeah.
Mr. Kuntal. He has shown that he's using this plastic bottles. He's turning them into bird feeders actually.
Yes.
And this is two-way benefit. One is beneficial for the sparrows, they're getting food, and one is this waste. Plastic waste is a problem for us. So he has done this wonderful thing. He's
Yeah.
installing
Best
this.
come from west.
He's how waste turned into wealth in one sense. Actually, this is the common cold drinks bottle, 2 liter bottle. They are putting some PVC pipes over here, and putting just a stick, and it's very easy for the students to replicate this thing, because we all use cold drinks, though it's harmful, but we all use it and then throw the bottle. It is double harmful. So these are the things he is doing, and by cutting the bottle into half, he is putting water onto it. So
Yes.
sparrows are also using this one. So this thing, what you are saying, sir, that feeder and this water, these two are very important for sparrows. So these are some of the glimpses. Thank you, Kuntalda, for sharing all this. Hope you could
Yes,
have
very good.
joined. Yes. And next question from Dr.
So when this,
Yes, sir.
let me disturb you. Few of my students, they
Yes, sir.
did the same job on large scale. So they have
Yes, sir.
collected these bottles
Yes,
from
sir.
their neighbors, and they prepared the bird feeder with them, and they have distributed the bird feeder among their colony. So this is the good initiative that
Yes,
one
yes.
can start with. So
Yes,
very
this is
good. Yes.
very good. Thank you for sharing this information. Also, our students can also take this initiative, because ultimately it's citizen science or citizens
Yes,
initiative that
citizen
is required now.
Yeah.
I'm going to the next question. There are plenty of questions. I won't be able to take everyone, but one is from my friend Dr. Kaustubh Datta Chaudhary. He's assistant professor in Ram Mohan College. He wants to know whether house sparrows are considered as a marker of changed urban environment. Should I
I could not
repeat?
hear you, sir.
Whether
Sir,
house sparrows are considered as a marker of changed urban environment. This question is done by Dr. Kaustubh Datta Chaudhary.
yes, to some extent it can be considered, but if you are living in the suburban areas where lot of trees are there, lot of shrubs are there, or gardens are there, then it is not the question. In the suburban areas, the number of sparrow is, I will not say it is increasing, but it is satisfactory, because when we say the number of sparrows is increasing or it is decreasing, one should have that statistics, that 2 years back in 2020 we had 1000 sparrows, and in 2022 we have 1500 sparrows. Then I can say that there is increase in the number. Or if the number get declined, if I get only 500 sparrows in 2022, then I will say that yes, there is decline. But in the urban areas where I have shown you the picture of Bangalore, so such buildings are there, such shops are there, where there is not a slight slit even for the cockroach to enter in. So how it will be possible for a sparrow to nest in? And so in the urban areas, crowded areas where thorny trees, thorny shrubs are not there, definitely number of sparrows is declining. But this is the reason that they don't have the thorny shrubs for roosting. We know, Subandhu sir, for the
Yes,
birds, nesting site is different, roosting site is different, feeding site is different. So
exactly, sir.
they flock together on the thorny trees, particularly babul, acacia, so which is very safe. And in the urban areas, the number of such trees, it is declining day by day. So for our respected sir, he says that it is true that in the urban areas, in the crowded areas, the number of sparrows is declining.
Sir, this actually you have already answered one of the next question. That is one from one of my student, Miss Tanoya Bosch. She wanted to know. You already answered this one. What are the ways to protect them while they are roosting? Can we provide them with roosting sites? That you have just addressed.
Yeah.
I go to the next question. Is the question is asked? Same question is asked by Gopal Dotto and Mohua Das. That what are the name and types of foods they can provide to sparrows? What are the foods in the artificial feeder? Which kind of food we can provide?
So we can use food grains. Now, even the bajra or the rice, the broken grains or the rice, not the Delhi rice that we use for biryani, but its pieces. We can fill the feeder with bajra grain, jawar grain, or the rice grain. Or we should, if we don't want to go for grain, then just put a pieces of bread, chapati, small pieces of chapati, or even the remnant of food from our plate. It may be rice, it may be pieces of chapati, or anything in the mud pot or in a mud plate. Then also the sparrow feed on.
Yes, sir. And actually, I would like to share that while working with urban sparrows in Kolkata, and as we Bengalis, we have staple food of rice. I have used those rice grains in the feeders, and the small rice grains ones that we get
Yeah,
in ration, very low cost
yeah,
ones, and sparrows are very happy to feed on them.
yeah.
And the next question is. That you have already answered. Moadas also wanted to know what kind of grain is preferred by them. Do they prefer rice or wheat grain? So I think they can use both if they wish.
Yeah.
Yes. And there are plenty of questions. I think time is short. So I would like to quickly add on some of my questions. That whenever we work on sparrows, there is a myth that people say this number of sparrows are declining due to this installation of mobile towers. So this is a question. This is a To me, it's a myth. What is your view about it?
Not only sparrow, but sir, I have seen nesting of many other birds on mobile tower also. So this clearly indicates that the electromagnetic waves of the mobile towers, they do not make any ill effect on the sparrows or on the painted stork or on the grey heron and number of birds. And
I have
as
also seen.
clearly mentioned in the report, state report of birds of India 220, it is available online, that there is no such evidence that number of birds, number of sparrows are declining because of just mobile towers. So it's a myth. It's not a true. It's not scientific.
Yes. Actually, sir, I would add to your answer that I have worked on black kites as well, and I have seen black kites nesting on the mobile towers itself. And many other birds, they are using mobile vicinity of the mobile tower. They're happy nesting. Loss of that, the things you have pointed out, that loss of nesting sites, loss of food, and particularly the green spaces are also declining, for which the insects that they need during their breeding season is going down.
Yeah.
Possibly. Sir, I would finally, I have got Mr. Kuntal with us. Shondipa, yes, welcome Kuntal to this
Thank you.
webinar. And I have already showed what you have sent me through WhatsApp. Just in we are running short of time, so if you can share that, because one component is citizen science, and you are doing excellent citizen science activity
Yes.
in Jalpaiguri. I know it very well.
Certainly.
So if you can just briefly say what you are doing in Jalpaiguri.
Can I speak in English, Hindi?
Yes, Hindi is fine.
Actually, आफ्टर 10 years 10 साल से पहले मैं ये काम कर चुका हूँ. एक्चुअली उस टाइम से मैं बर्ड को लेके काम कर रहा था, तो स्पेसिकली स्पैरो लेके काम चालू किया है. तो मैंने देखा कि धीरे धीरे हम लोग का इधर जो कोई वेंटिलेटर के अंदर जो बर्ड रहते थे पहले, वो वेंटिलेटर के अंदर रहने का जगह भी कम हो गया अभी. तो इसलिए मैंने सोचा इन लोग के लिए रहने के लिए और खाना के देने के लिए अगर सब कुछ इन लोग को मिल जाएगा तो ये धीरे धीरे ब्रीडिंग करना चालू करेगा, तो इसका पॉपुलेशन भी ज्यादा हो जाएगा. इसलिए मैं फास्ट बनाया एक फीडर. देखिए मार्केट में फीडर 300 to 400 रुपीज में मिलता है, तो इसलिए मैं क्या किया, उसको मैं कितना चीप रेट में इसको दे सकूं, तो इसके लिए मैं फास्ट जो चालू किया है, जो कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स का बॉटल लेके मैं उसमें मेरा कुछ मेरा तरीका कुछ अप्लाई करके उसको मैं बनाया फीडर. एक्चुअली ये फीडर बनाने में मेरे को अभी 25 to 30 रुपीज लग रहा है अभी. तो ये अभी स्कूल बच्चों के लिए मैंने 100 to 200 बच्चों, पहले कोविड के पहले मैं सभी बच्चों को
Hello, there are network issues. There are network issues. कुंतलदा, your video, आपका वीडियो बंद हो गया है. Okay, sir.
Yeah, network problem is there.
Hello.
But Subhendu sir, what he did is an excellent work. Just request him to go with this idea to the school and promote the school children to
Yes, sir.
prepare such bird feeders on large scale, so that each student can take bird feeder to their own home.
Actually, sir, many college students, university students, and many faculties are there in this webinar today. So I think these ideas that you have shared, and Kuntalda, what he has shown to the WhatsApp, these things we can easily take to the students, and if they carry out, then it will be
Yeah.
a large movement for conserving sparrows. It will be a meaningful
Yes.
outcome of this webinar.
Certainly.
Yes, sir. I think we have lost Kuntalda due to network issues. No, I'll take the last question.
Hello.
That what can be done? Okay, sorry, Kuntalda, you are back. So just briefly, आप अगर बता दें, बहुत समय बहुत कम हो गया अभी. अब सर जो बता रहे थे कि ये स्कूल में आप जो ले जा रहे हैं, ये बहुत अच्छी इनिशिएटिव है. ये और ज्यादा स्कूल में अगर ले जा सके, ये बच्चों जो जिसको हम सिखा रहे हैं, वो अगर ये इस अपना है, तो ये बहुत मास मूवमेंट हो जाएगा. तो ये जो घोड़िया है, स्पैरो, उनको हम और अच्छी तरह से खाना भी खिला सकते हैं. हाँ, और उसको जाने के लिए एक बहुत मास मूवमेंट हो सकता है. ये आप ऑलरेडी काम कर रहे हैं. तो
एक्चुअली सर मैं एक चीज आपको, हाँ बोलिए सर.
1-2 मिनट में आप बता दीजिए.
एक्चुअली वो तो रेन वाटर पाइप से उनका रहने का जगह भी अच्छा से बना लिया है, 100% सक्सेस. इस बार भी वो उसमें बर्ड रहना चालू कर दिया है. शायद 2-3 चीक भी उसमें अंदर हो गया है. मेरे को आवाज सुनाई दे रहा है. तो ये बर्ड का फीडर एंड रहने का जगह, ये मैं अगर मेरा कोशिश है कि स्कूल बच्चों को तो मैं सिखा रहा हूँ, उसके साथ साथ सर जो बोल रहे थे कि मॉल या कोई इसी जगह में कोई जॉइंट प्रोग्राम होगा, तो मैं एकदम 100% आप लोग के साथ काम करने के लिए रेडी हूँ. मैं ये इसको पूरा कर दूंगा.
गुड.
थैंक यू कुंतल. सो सर, एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन आज का वेबिनार का, that what can be done to protect the sparrows from diminishing insect numbers?
Sir, please repeat.
What can be done to protect the sparrows from diminishing insect numbers? Because during the breeding season, insect number is required. Insect is a diet for the juveniles. So insect number को बढ़ाने के लिए what can be done?
No. What's there? All of us, we need a protein-rich diet, and it is essential to raise their young one. It's true. But if we're not getting protein-rich diet now in the urban areas, sparrows do not get larvae to feed their young ones, so they feed on some other proteinous material and carry them to their nest, and they raise their young. So if it is possible, now when it is our practice in my area, it is in summer season, my mother, my wife used to sun dry the food grains. Even in the rural areas also, sun drying of food grain is practice, and number of sparrows, they come to the food grains not to feed on the food grains, but they feed on the larvae, and they take these larvae to their young one. To some extent in the urban areas this is possible, but not in all urban areas that the sparrows they will get the larvae or the insect. But I have seen number of sparrows, they are feeding on the parts of cockroaches, so they find their own ways on which they can feed their young one. So I don't think that no special effort should be done at our own, because the birds that can do at their own, we should not keep all the things available to them. Now many of the people, they say that I just hang a straw or a bundle of straw in the balcony so that the sparrows or the birds, they can take their pieces for their nest construction. So it is found that the crows, they make use of binding wires in their nest. So birds, they find their own ways. If possible, we can provide them with protein rich diet So whatever protein-rich diet that we feed, say egg white, you can chop the egg white in small pieces and you can keep it in the feeding tray which is near to their nest. But I don't think that this is necessary. The birds can do at their own.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this so informative questions, and you have given wonderful ideas, uh, research ideas, as well as you have shown us very important initiatives that anyone and everyone can take to conserve these house sparrows in our surroundings. And if there is a will, they can surely
Yeah,
implement the ideas you have shared with us. And with these words, I would like to request sir to share your email ID so that many questions remains unaddressed in this short time. So if you can share your email ID so they can get in touch with you, sir. And once again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the entire department, college, that you are doing excellent work that I know, but you have shared your wonderful experience with this young minds as well as with all of us. We are enriched, and we look forward in future also to get enriched from you. And
sure,
thank you
sir.
so much, sir, for giving us this time. Hope to see you in some of the next webinar. And with this, I think we have already crossed the time. And thank you so much, sir, once again. And thank you all of the participants for your patience hearing. Thanks all of the faculty members from different departments across the country, from different parts of the state. All of you have been patient and patiently hearing. You have asked so many questions. It's due to the shortage of time, I could not address all of them. I hope you have already Sir's email ID with you, so you can get in touch with him. Most importantly, we all need to do something for our environment, and that oath we should take today in this World Sparrow Day. And if we all do a little bit, whatever we can, then only the purpose of this webinar will be successful. Thank you everybody. Thank you so much. And
Thank you, sir.
finally, before I conclude, I would like to remind you all the participants that please fill up the feedback form. The link is in the flyer only. Please fill it up so that you can get your certificates in the
Yes.
email ID. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Have a very nice day. Save sparrows, and very good night to all of
Right.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much.